I have some interesting results from an unintentional seed sowing experiment with the okra and tomatoes this year. So this okra is a Clemson Spineless variety, and I have 3 plants. There's this one, and one right there. Let me get a little closer. And these were really babied and coddled, and I'm in zone 7A. I kept them under extended coverage in the spring to keep them warm. There's some fruit and blooms happening down here. They were attacked by flea beetles and needed tending to on a daily basis for weeks. So I am shocked that they actually came through, but here we are now, and they are about, I don't know, let me see, like 18 inches, 20 inches or so. And then I just want to take you over here to this corner of the garden. Don't mind my weeds, but these are self-sowed okra. This is the, what's it called? I always forget. Hill country okra. These were sowed after the end of the season last year by pods that I had just left on the ground, because sometimes you don't get to everything you want to get to. Anyway, so these also are around 18-20 inches, and I think they seem even healthier. Lord knows they were less of a headache to deal with. There's some, where is it? Some blooms and blossoms coming out there. So these were self-sowed. And I want to bring you over to the tomatoes. There were some issues with over-fertilizing some of the tomatoes this year. So I lost a few, and a few are hanging in there, but really, really struggling. You'll see some yellowing leaves. That's what that's all about. But this one right in front of me here, that was self-sowed from last year. And I'd say at this point it's only about like a foot shorter than the others. There's no fruit on it yet, but it looks super healthy. And it's pretty wild. And there's one other one that does have fruit on it. This was self-sowed from last year. And it is just doing great. Tons of blossoms and lots of fruit already started. I don't know what kind it is. I'm hoping it's a Chadwick cherry, because that's one of the ones that I lost. But we can compare this one, which again, I didn't have to do anything to get it up and going, with this little guy. This is a Dad's Sunset, and it's not doing great, as you can see. And I don't think, well, I'm not really sure how much of that had to do with the over-fertilizing and how much of that had to do with the plant itself. I had 2 Dad Sunset, and neither of them are doing that great, and they're both in different positions in the garden. So while we're here, I'll just take a short peek at this. My pride and joy, this sunrise bumblebee, front and center, putting on some color down there. This thing is such a beast, and I love it so much. So yeah, there's the tomatoes. They self-seeded. The tomato plants in general this year were also really hard to get going. There was a lot of issues with sudden cold snaps, and then heat highs and crazy wind and sun scorch. I mean, everything really. I forget if these had flea beetles too or not, but it was just a lot of work, and thankfully the majority of them are still doing really well. But I don't know about how I'm going to plant some of these things moving forward, because if I don't have to attend to any of them and they can just do this great coming up on their own, I feel like that might be the way to go. So, something to think about. Again, self-sowed, volunteer tomato plant. Really, really healthy, not struggling at all, no maintenance at all whatsoever. So that's kind of my kind of gardening. There's our basil and eggplant in front. Okay, hope it helps.